How's it going, everyone? This is your Astrology Horoscope for Tuesday, March 5th, 2024. I'm astrologer Alex Skyles, and welcome to the Moon Base. Hope you guys are having a great start to the week. So, this Moon in Capricorn, it's going to sextile Saturn today. So, I think today is a very Saturnian Capricorn energy that I feel like, because a lot of what's coming up over the next few weeks is connected to this Kazemi that we just went through with the Sun and Saturn and Mercury all conjuncting. So I think over the next few weeks, really going towards the end of when the Sun goes to Aries, when we leave Pisces season, I feel like that's really what the conversation is a lot of these Saturnian, things that we've been going through. Are we passing the test, right? Are we really maintaining our boundaries? Are we keeping our boundaries clean? Are we keeping our environment clean? Are we having the right conversations? Are we saying the right things? Or are we letting the subconscious take over? Or are we becoming more aware of our subconscious and bringing it more to the conscious forefront? And I think today, with this Moon in Capricorn sextiling Saturn, I think that's what it's going to be. It's a very supportive energy, but I think there's definitely a very masculine, fatherly kind of overhanging energy saying, are you passing the test, right? Are you really paying attention? Are you following your destiny? Are you listening to the spirit within you? This is a very Capricorn Pisces energy. They're two feminine signs, but the irony here when it comes to the feminine signs is that it's a very Saturn energy. Capricorn being ruled by Saturn, Pisces being in Saturn, Capricorn and Pisces being two very spiritual signs, like Capricorn and Saturn being the bridge to the spiritual world from the physical to the non-physical. So it's like, this Moon in Capricorn, it's like we're feeling good about what, the work that we've been doing, what we've been putting in, the lessons that we've been learning and really laying the foundation in a positive way. And I think emotionally we can be feeling pretty good about that, and then the Moon is going to trine Jupiter after this sextile is going to happen here at 12 degrees. So I think too, like we can see a lot of benefits pop up today, but if you've really been following this Saturn message that we've been getting here with Saturn and Pisces and Mercury and Pisces, Mercury this week's going to conjunct Neptune. So we are going to be seeing our dreams manifest in a very powerful way here. I mean, I think I've been having a lot of conversations with people. It's like, man, my dreams have been so off the charts lately. And mine have as well. And I've been having so many conversations and hearing from people I'm surrounded by. It's like, wow, like my dreams are just really off the charts. And, some people who don't even follow the astrology who are just like, wow, like I had this dream last night. It was crazy. This, and this. And, there's so much reflection of our reality coming through our dreams right now with Mercury conjunct Neptune that just came off of Saturn. This Moon sextiling Saturn and then trining Jupiter today, and it's like, really, like, I believe that this Moon trining Jupiter is saying, I believe that my destiny is manifesting in a very practical, material way. Jupiter in Taurus is expanding our beliefs, our truth, our spirituality, but also, everything material. Our possessions, our money, our physical well-being. And Jupiter is finally getting some love here. We've been going through some really intense transits with all the Aquarius planets squaring over to Jupiter and squaring over to Uranus. Mars is about to square Uranus. So definitely when it comes to the more Taurus things, the financial systems, our material life, things are going to be shaken up here a bit, definitely. Even across the internet, Mars being in Aquarius, it's like, man, things are really, information is being exposed at a very powerful level. I mean, Pluto's in Aquarius too, behind Mars, like secretly in the shadows saying, haha, like, we are revealing more and more information that's connected to very deep shit. And this Mars coming on to square Uranus here this week, it's like there's going to be more exposure, more exposure. There's definitely going to be more chaotic energy. And that's the thing, like with this moon trining Jupiter and making all these wonderful aspects to Saturn, the Sun, Mercury, and Pisces, and Mercury on its way to conjunct Neptune. Like there's so much chaos and beauty at this moment right now. Like it's really hard to wrap our heads around. And I think also with this moon in Capricorn, like the moon in Capricorn is very, I mean, it's cold as fuck. Like emotionally, the moon in Capricorn can be very cold, which I think is kind of needed for this energy. You know, like the spiritual vibration with all these planets in Pisces. We have 4 planets in Pisces. Like there's so much spiritual sensitivity. You know, I think mentally and in our minds, we're feeling more sensitive than usual. Our dreams are more powerful and more real than usual. I feel like it's these moments where we're like waking up tired, waking up exhausted from the dream. It's like those two worlds and the veil between those two worlds are so thin right now. But this moon in Capricorn as well is like saying, hey, like there's a physical reality and there's a lot of shit going on, you know, and it's connected to the Pluto Capricorn transit that we're not fully done with yet. So, and once the moon leaves the Capricorn, it's going to conjunct Pluto and Aquarius. So, you know, there is this bridge right now between the physical and the spiritual. And this moon in Capricorn is keeping it real, basically. You know, we want to keep it real. And there's a lot of positive energy with this moon in Capricorn to keep it real. Because we know with it trining Jupiter, we know how powerful this time of manifestation is. And that we don't get these moments very often. And that we are evolving and growing and expanding spiritually. I mean, even with all this chaos with Mars and Venus in Aquarius that squared Jupiter, is going to square Uranus. Venus already squared Uranus, but like the last trigger point of this is Mars squaring Uranus. So there's definitely going to be more havoc and more chaos that can kind of suddenly occur here. Like if we're not going to see, I mean, don't be surprised if we see more earthquakes. And, you know, during these transits in Aquarius season, we saw that fucking volcano explode multiple times during all these squares with the sun square Uranus, you know, as predicted by most astrologers out there. You know, I mean, this is very common with Uranian energy. I mean, it's always going to be some shocks and some surprises, but when you follow the astrology, it's not really that shocking, right? And when you follow the transits and you go back through time, it's not really shocking, you know? So with this Uranus and Taurus too, I mean, this is very World War II, pre-World War II energy, right? So we could feel the drums of that, of what is happening in the world, right? I don't want to say anything particularly, but we know that like in our spiritual lives and in our physical, practical, everyday lives, like it's not seeming to add up with what's going on out here, you know? But we also want to embrace that all the synchronicities are taking us individually to where we need to go, and we're so receptive to all the synchronicities and the voice that is speaking through us at this moment. Like, you know, when we're in Pisces season, we have Mercury in Pisces. That's where we are at. And if we're too busy trying to control it, it only leads you into a very neurotic place that you don't want to be. So just let the thoughts happen. Let the voice speak to you. You know, and trust your instincts and act upon those instincts. You know, and this moon trining Jupiter, it's very, very, this is a very positive day, and you could be feeling a little extra lucky today, right? And then I'm pretty sure, I mean, this is 10 a.m., so that means this moon's going to sextile the sun right after it trines Jupiter. In the late afternoon going into the evening. So, you know, as the moon sextiles Saturn today, it trines Jupiter, we know that we've been putting in the work. We are growing spiritually. That's connected to the physical world and all the work that we're doing in this physical world, but also being able to be detached and removed from all the difficult emotions about what's really going on. That's beyond our control, right? Capricorn is all about the larger systems and control. So if we want to be outside of that, we want to be outside of that matrix, like the only way to operate in that arena is really tapping into all these planets in Pisces. So the sun, or this moon's going to sextile to the sun. And so I think, what these spiritual messages that were coming through during this Cazimi point is starting to become more real and become more physical, and start to show themselves in a more realistic way, right? Like, I think I said this on Monday that, when we went through that Cazimi point, it's like we subconsciously receive the message, right? It's within us. It's embedded into our subconscious. We haven't really been able to make sense of it or make it real yet or understand it. I think our dream states at this moment are giving us insights and helping reveal more of that. But with this moon sextiling Saturn and the sun today, I think it's we're starting to understand it in a more realistic way, right? And that is very powerful towards our destiny and our spiritual growth and our spirituality. And, you've been really listening to Saturn. I think this is where we're going to start to see results, and there can be some harmony. But at the same time, we can kind of be pulled in multiple directions of like, okay, especially within our relationships, because this moon, as it's sextiling the sun, this moon in Capricorn is going to be squaring is going to cause a T-square to the nodes, right? So karmically, it's like if things aren't spiritually aligned, you just kind of have to keep charging your own path and keep climbing your own mountain. But where things are spiritually aligned with the sun, moon sextile, I think it can be unifying our relationships and really helping us evolve and grow into ourselves even more with this North Node in Aries and the South Node in Libra, So this could be a moment where within our relationships, like if things are just not spiritually aligned, they're not creatively and artistically aligned, or where, things aren't serving each other in a spiritual way. Because this is what Pisces in the 12th house and Neptune's all about, is service, selfless service, spirituality, the creativity within us, the deep, non-physical, out of this world nature that Pisces truly is in a beautiful way. So if things aren't aligned in that way, like this can karmically cut ties, and this can bring up some karmic situations today. Because also the sun is going to be making a quincunx to the South Node today. So there are some things within our relationships that we're going to have to let go, that, the South Node we're going to have to release. We're going to have to just sever and let it go. Like, this is not serving me spiritually. This is not helping me grow and evolve spiritually. And, I think now, we got the message through the Cazimi. Now the message is starting to become more concrete and become more physical and easier to piece together in our reality. And I think that's what this week is all about, especially once Mercury gets past Neptune. Then it's going to be like, I got the whole picture here. I got the whole vibrational understanding, because it's only been vibrational up until yesterday and today when the moon comes into Capricorn. Now the vibration is, we can make sense of it and understand it and rationalize it in a much better way. So it's hard to rationalize things when Mercury's in Pisces. We can only feel and intuit these things. But definitely the message today is, we have to maintain our boundaries. We have to let go of anything connected to our relationships that are not spiritually aligned. It's that cut and dry with this moon in Capricorn. Moon in Capricorn is just black and white. I know a lot of these Pisces planets, well, not necessarily Saturn in Pisces, but the sun, Mercury, Neptune. It's hard to be in a black and white state. And that's kind of what Saturn in Pisces is teaching us. And the moon sextiling Saturn today is like, hey, we are on a spiritual mission. We are unifying in a much more spiritual way and serving each other and being more connected to God or whatever our higher power is. But when it comes to these karmic situations and scenarios that are playing out in our relationships, like it is on or off. It is on or off. And then after the moon squares the nodes, and we could feel like we're being pulled in multiple directions, right? Our arms are being pulled in each way, and our feet and legs are being pulled out from our entire bodies. That's kind of how I can feel. But to get through that, it's just you have to be straightforward and say, this is not serving me spiritually. And, right after that, the moon at 17 degrees is going to square Chiron. So what's going to happen here, I think it could be kind of painful to really say, to be that way. And I think with all these planets in Pisces too, it's hard to be that. It's really hard to be cold and cut and dry in these moments, right? But we need to be. We really have to be. And it can be kind of painful. It can definitely challenge our egos in a way. It's like, I don't want to let this go. I want to hold on to this. But this moon in Capricorn's like, no. It's like, you know what? We're on a mission here. We're growing and evolving, and we have to do what must be done. That's Capricorn. That's Saturn. That's the 10th house. It's like we have to do what must be done. Meaning this moon squaring the south node, the sun sextiling, or the sun quincunxing the south node, and then the moon squaring Chiron. It's like, we have to do what's better for ourselves spiritually and in our relationships to really grow and evolve and keep moving forward, because we're only moving forward. Remember, retrogrades are just illusions from Earth's perspective. No planet actually goes backwards. We're only going forward. So in order to keep maintaining that positive momentum with all planets direct here, we have to, cut ties and sever with anything that is not healthy, anything that we're just binded to, or anything caught up in a codependent situation where, things are not serving each other spiritually. This is the moment. This is the day where, we got to do what must be done. And so later on, going into the nighttime, this moon will trine Uranus. So this is really when all the insight and the moment of okay, I know exactly what I need to do to really do what's best for me physically and what makes me feel more secure and more connected. I think this is the moment. This is a whole day process of going through this, and it can be kind of a roller coaster. And by the time you get to this moon trine Uranus, we can really emotionally feel like, okay, this is what I'm going to do, and this is how I'm going to go about it, and this is the stance I take on that. And you make a move. This is where you make your big move here. Whatever area of your life in your chart this is bringing up, this is where you want to make your big move here. You've been patient and watching the chessboard move and making teeny weeny tiny moves, gathering the messages, really paying attention. This is where you make your big move here. So, and you'll see positive results for sure with this moon trine Uranus. It's very much this is a good roller coaster, right? This isn't like usually when we say, oh, today was such a roller coaster. It's like, this is a good roller coaster. This is it's like this is maybe a bad comparison. If you ride a wooden roller coaster, there isn't really any loops, right? On a wooden roller coaster. Now you ride a metal roller coaster, it can go all over the place, and it can, it has the power to kind of take you. This is more of a wooden roller coaster, right? It's pretty wild, it's fast, it's intense. We're ready to, feel the excitement. This moon trine Uranus is very exciting, but it's more controlled, right? This is more controlled energy. And this is happening before Mars is going to square Uranus. And Mars will square Uranus later this week, the weekend, going into next week. So we're 3 degrees away from that. So 2 degrees, technically, actually. So yeah, this is the moment to make your big move here. And going into tomorrow, we're going to see a lot of amazing things happen as this Mercury-Neptune conjunction starts to come on here. They're 4 degrees away. By tomorrow, they'll be 3 degrees. And by Thursday, going into Friday, we're going to see that conjunction happening. We're going to see our dreams start to really come to life in a very powerful way, in a very real way, right? It's hard to bridge our minds between what is real and what is not when we have Mercury and Neptune. And that is exactly what that energy is all about. And that can be kind of complicated for people, especially if you're not good with mutable energy. It's my favorite, by the way. But really pay attention to your dreams this week with Mercury Neptune conjunct. That's where all of the information that you need at this moment is coming through. And it's a magical place to be, amongst all the chaos in the world. So, but the thing is all the chaos is happening in the lower realms, right? Before Pisces. So as long as we're maintaining and staying in that higher octave spiritually, we don't have to let that shit get to us. We don't have to let the fear of Pluto and Aquarius get to us or put us in a state of something that really isn't spiritually connected. So, and speaking of Pluto and Aquarius, this is very interesting. I got the death card. So, I think that's what this is, like, especially with this moon making all these great aspects to all these Pisces planets. We got to remember, like, Pluto is associated with death, right? Scorpio, the 8th house, is always associated with death, But to me, Pluto in the 8th house isn't where death occurs, right? I think it's where it's contemplated. It's where it's discovered. I think the 8th house and Pluto and Scorpio is where death is, translated, in where we're willing to actually go to those places. Now, to me, in Neptune world and in Pisces and 12th house world, that's where death happens. So when we're in Pisces season, it's very much a death before the sun is reborn in Aries, where the sun is reborn in the spring. This is tropical astrology. This isn't based on the constellations. This is based on the seasons. This is based upon the actual movement that we exist in the northern hemisphere. So this is very much a death that we're going through. And definitely with this moon squaring the nodes, squaring the south node, it's like we're really severing and cutting ties today with things that really are not aligning with us spiritually. With the sun sextiling Saturn or the moon sextiling the sun and Saturn. We're really willing to just say, hey, you know what? Like, it's black and white with moon and Capricorn. Like, this is very much a releasing of an old version to really generate a new version of what we're going to be moving into in an Aries season and in an eclipse season. I mean, these eclipses are really going to change our lives, like, massively, big time, because it's not the final set of eclipses. This is the midpoint, right? This is the midpoint of these eclipses that are coming in Aries season. The nodes are at 15 degrees. This is halfway through this Aries Libra north-south node cycle. So this is very much a death before things really change here. A spiritual death, not a physical death. This is a spiritual death. This is where, we can really start to transform spiritually. And, with this moon in Capricorn making these great aspects to these 4 planets in Pisces, we're going to start to see results really start to show up, especially with the moon trining Jupiter today. So I hope you guys have a wonderful Tuesday. And if you're new here, subscribe to my channel, share this video, like this video, check out all of my platforms. All the links are in the description of this video below. My Instagram, my Spotify, my website, for my bookings for readings are also in the link of the description of this video. So yeah, if you're new here, click that shit. So have a great Tuesday, and I will see you tomorrow. Peace out.